Jai Hind. In the last class, we discussed about Gauss's theorem and its proof. In this class, we are going to discuss about the applications of Gauss's theorem. Before studying the applications, we can review what is Gauss theorem. Gauss's law is the total electric flux phi equals closed integral E dot ds equal to E dot s equals 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed. If you know the value of charge and area using Gauss's theorem, we can find out electric field. So that is the main use of Gauss's theorem. We can find out electric field through an easy method. The first application of Gauss's theorem is to find electric field due to an infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. So consider an infinitely long, straight wire with uniform linear charge density lambda. To calculate field at the point P, imagine a cylindrical surface passing through the point. So here, this is a thin wire, uniformly charged thin wire, and the charges are uniformly distributed on the surface of the wire. Therefore, we can assume the uniform charge distribution linear charge density lambda, because the charges are uniformly distributed on the surface of the thin wire, and hence the linear charge density is taken as lambda. We have to find out electric field at the point P. This is the point P. We have to find out electric field at the point P, which is at the distance r from the wire. Here, according to Gauss's theorem, the total flux is equal to 1 by epsilon 0 charge enclosed by the surface, closed surface. So here we can assume a closed surface, and that surface is called a Gaussian surface. So the important characteristics of Gaussian surface are, first one, the Gaussian surface should be closed. If you consider this Gaussian surface, here the surface is closed. The cylindrical Gaussian surface is a closed one. Then second characteristic is electric field at every point should be symmetrical. If you consider this curved surface, electric field is along the radial direction, radial outward direction, because it is a positive charge. At each and every point of the curved surface, electric field is radially outward, and hence here also electric field is radially outward. Hence electric field at every point is symmetrical. Then third one is a theta at every point is symmetrical. Theta, we know it is angle between electric field and area vector. Here, if you consider an area here, area vector is outward, outward normal. If you consider an area here, here also area vector is outward normal. If you consider an area here, here also outward normal. So, on the surface of the curved cylinder, curved surface of the cylinder, area vector is always outward normal, and hence theta at every point is symmetrical. Theta is 0. In this case, theta is 0 because electric field and area vector are along the same direction. Therefore, on the curved surface, theta is always same or 0. So, theta at every point is symmetrical. So, all the three characteristics of Gaussian surface are satisfied here, and hence we can assume this cylindrical Gaussian surface. So, assume a cylindrical Gaussian surface passing through the point P and enclosing the wire or enclosing the rod. Now, we can find out a total electric flux through the region. Here we know that there are three areas: the top region, top face, curved face, and the bottom face. So we know that total electric flux from Gauss's theorem, we know that phi equals 1 by epsilon 0 q. And from the general formula, we know that total flux phi equals integral E dot ds, that is total electric flux is equal to closed integral E dot ds. This is from Gauss's theorem. This is a general formula for electric flux. Now we can find out the total flux. Since there are three surfaces here, we can find out the total flux like this. Flux phi equals flux through the top face plus flux through the bottom face plus flux through the curved region. That is equal to, we know that formula for flux is phi equal to E dot s, or we can write Es cos theta. In the top region, if you see, electric field along the x direction, because it is positive charge, electric field is radially outward. If you consider top region, area vector is always perpendicular. Okay, perpendicular, normal. So area vector is in the upward direction. So electric field and area vector are perpendicular to each other. Area vector is in the upward direction. So electric field and area vector are perpendicular. Therefore, what is the value of theta? Theta is 90 degree. Then flux through the bottom region, if you see, here also electric field is radially outward and area vector is perpendicular outward, that means in the downward direction. So electric field and area vector are perpendicular in the bottom region or bottom face also. Therefore flux through the bottom face is again ES cos 90 plus flux through the curved region. This is the curved region, and in the curved region electric field and area vector are along the same direction. Therefore we can write ES into same direction, therefore cos 0. Then we know cos 90 is 0, so total flux through the top region is 0 plus total flux through the bottom region is 0 plus cos 0 is 1, therefore E into S, or the total flux is equal to E into S. S represents the curved surface area. This is a curved surface area of the cylinder, which is given by 2 pi r into L, where L is the length of the cylinder. L be the length of the cylinder under consideration. So total electric flux phi total equals E into 2 pi RL, which is taken as the first equation. Then from Gauss's theorem we know that total electric flux is equal to 1 by epsilon 0 into Q. Since the charges are uniformly distributed on the surface of the road, we know that linear charge density is equal to charge divided by length. Okay, linear charge density lambda equal to charge divided by length. Therefore, using this we can write 1 by epsilon 0 into Q. What is this Q? Q equal to lambda L. So, lambda into L. So, total electric flux from Gauss's theorem is given by 1 by epsilon 0 into lambda L. This is from Gauss's theorem. This is from Gauss's law. And this equation can be taken as the second equation. So we know that from the first equation and second equation, we know the total electric flux on both sides, left side are equal. Therefore, we can equate the right side. First equation and second equation are equal. Therefore, we can equate the right hand side. So E into 2 pi RL equals 1 by epsilon 0 into lambda L. LL can be cancelled. So electric field E equals lambda divided by 2 pi R epsilon 0. Or electric field in vector form can be written as lambda divided by 2 pi r epsilon 0. Since it is radially outward, it can be represented as vector r, unit vector r. So this is the formula for electric field at any point on the surface of a thin uniformly charged spherical shell, which is given by E equals lambda divided by 2 pi r epsilon 0. Clear? Now, what is the graphical representation of electric field and R? So, from the formula itself, it is shown that electric field and R are inversely proportional. So, from the figure, we can say that R increases. What happens to electric field? Yes, it decreases. So, R and electric field are inversely proportional. Therefore, if a graph is plotted with R along the x-axis and electric field along the y-axis, R is an independent quantity, therefore it is plotted along the x-axis, and electric field is a dependent, therefore it is plotted along the y-axis. So as R increases, electric field decreases, so the shape of the graph is inversely proportional. Okay, so this is the graph relating electric field and distance R. Hope you understand the first application of Gauss's theorem. Thank you.